So you've been charged with creating note cards for your sources, and I think we need to take some steps to sort of get you there. So once you're signed in, and we already have a video for that, so I'm not going to put that back in here. So once we're signed into Noodle Tools, we're going to go to Citing, Noodle Tools, and we end up on our project page. So we're going to have that open. We are also going to open a resource. So our first resource is a reference resource, and you can do that a couple of ways. So we're going to go to the database page and we're going to sign in. And you can go to ABC Clio for your first article. Another stopping place would be Encyclopedia Britannica, which is here. I'm going to go down to History and Context by Gale. That's one of the examples I showed in class today. And I'm going to search for Raphael. But I'm going to look for Renaissance because that's just a one-word name and that could be confusing. There are angels and there's all kinds of things. So Raphael Renaissance. And I have a Renaissance article, but if I look down here under actual biographies, I've got a really great Encyclopedia of World Biography, Raphael. That's the Italian painter from the Renaissance. That's the guy we want. So we're going to go to that article. So obviously he's a painter. I don't need to say much about that. But I wanted to know what his early influences were. Truthfully, I'm going to come back to that one. I'm going to edit it. Here I actually see early influences, and then now I realize, oh wait, that workshop thing, that's actually really training. That's not what I thought it was originally. So more on influences here. We're going to talk a little bit about both of these works. I could make a post perhaps as like progress on these things as I'm working on them. What am I thinking about them? That would be a good idea. This would probably be a really good, interesting post on, I'm tired of the old stuff. I really want to, I'm so inspired by Michelangelo and I want to do this new thing. That would be a great way to talk about it. Here, again, we're talking about Leonardo as an influence, but I should research what the relationship is between these two people and how he might have been influenced. So that's something for my next article. I'll go look at that Leonardo piece. Here, I could talk about how exhausting that project was. Here, this is big, this is huge, this is the patronage, this is what we're getting at. Who's supporting my work, who's paying for it, how am I learning, and in this case, it's Pope Julius II. So I need to make sure that I write a big shout out, to my benefactor. Here we can add some stuff about a reference to, I think, favorable review. Like, obviously it was well received. You're not going to find a favorable review, but you could talk about it speculatively. Oh, we got a great write-up or critique from blah, blah, blah. So again, something to research at the next level. Here you could write a post like, I've been thinking about philosophy. Obviously, if you're immersed in a huge, like, multi-year project about philosophers, then that's a great opportunity to write a post. And then obviously you have to go research who the philosophers are that the painting is about, because then you would know more. So what I'm saying is all of these little highlights help you refocus your further research. So you know now, based on this, what to research next. Here we could talk about the Renaissance, but we can't call it the Renaissance, but there's clearly a shift in philosophy and intellect and development and education and the arts that's moving people forward, so you could write something optimistic about it. Youch, this is a big one. Pope Julius II dies. What does this mean? It's very upsetting on many levels, some of which are purely professional, but others are obviously deeply emotional. And then at this stage, we can talk about, basically I'm designing, my assistants are really great, shout out to my peeps kind of thing. You could totally do that. We have a couple more. there are two pieces of information in this one statement. One is he got a huge commission in 1517, and two is he died, which obviously we know that he died, but it gives you some sense of where he was in progress with his work. And then here, this is just kind of a nice description of his personality. You could make sure that you're thoughtful about that in your tone of your posts. He had a good sense of humor, and he was very kind and gentle and thoughtful. So those are good things to know. And here, we can add that to the training, so that would be further back in the timeline. And again, also write posts about his architectural work. That's part of his professional portfolio, so to speak. And then here you might write a post on behalf of his assistants about his death. So kind of an obituary post, oh, he was such an influence on me and as an artist and me as a person and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now we have this document. And I'm going to need to make a note card, but before I make a note card, I actually have to create a citation. So at the very bottom of my highlighted documents with all my notes, which are down here, I do have this citation. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go into the high school, and I'm going to click on citing, and then scroll directly horizontally over and into Noodle. Sometimes it gets a little tricky there. We're taking that website down very soon. I'm going to, on my dashboard, I've already created my project. You may have to create your project, which is over there. So you would create a new project here, and you would name it, and then it will appear here in your projects. We're going to scroll down to the works cited, and we are citing a database article. So create citation. And then we're citing a reference source. This is an Encyclopedia of World Biography. That is a reference source. This is the kind of resource we use in the wonder phase of our research. So here it is. And we're not going to fill out any of this information. I did it differently with one class this morning. What we're going to do now is go to copy and paste citation in the top. And we're going to come here, and we're going to paste our citation, and we're going to click submit. That is done. Now we have our citation in our list of resources. You can see I already did this once. I can get rid of that citation. So you can highlight it and you can click delete. And I can agree, yes, we only want one source here. Okay, so now we have to create our note card. I think we want to go back to our dashboard and go down to the note cards online. There we go. And we are going to create a note card by going click new note card. All right, so I talked to you in class today about the parts of the note card. So this is the part where you get to copy and paste. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller for now so that we can bring our document over here. So remember, there was a passage about the Pope Julius. That's the part that I think is the most important quote from this passage. Now you'll remember that a quote isn't what somebody says as much as it is literally copied and pasted from the document. So that's important. And I am going to paraphrase this in my own words, and that means that I'm going to say, now save. Oh, if it says that, then you have to go make sure that you've done this. This is background info. Okay, good. For the source, we're going to choose our encyclopedia. And we don't have page numbers. The URL is not necessarily important. We can do tags later and piles later. So now we're going to save our note card. And there is our note card. So you see that it's over here, which is great. You can close that. And if we want to move it here, we can see it again. There it is. Okay. So you can print your note card when you are done and go to export to RTF. That way, if you don't have Word, it's not a problem. The whole thing, and you can submit it, and it will generate a document that will show up either here or up on the top right if you're in Safari or wherever it is that your downloads go. And you can open it, and you have your note card all broken down. Now, if you click Control P, you can print it, or you can save it as a PDF and store it to your document or store it to your computer somewhere if you want, and then you can subsequently upload it to Google Docs. I'm not going to do that now. What I want to do instead is show you that when you have all your note cards done, you can go to your projects. And we're going to go to, actually I could have gone to my dashboard, but that's fine. And we are going to scroll down to it says, we share our project with a teacher's Dropbox. And our project is Renaissance, Renaissance Fakebook for a Rothschild. We're going to choose Rothschild. For a Rothschild, obviously, you choose Rothschild. And then you don't have to share your Google Docs, and you would go back to share your project. And now it will appear in your